Have you ever felt like you're just living someone else's life? Like you're stuck in a routine that just doesn't feel right?
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone feels that at some point.
Right. You wake up, you go through the motions, and you do what's expected of you, but deep down, there's this, lingering sense of emptiness.
Yeah, or confusion. It's like that sneaking suspicion that you somehow missed a really important orientation meeting where everyone else was handed the manual for life.
Exactly. And that is exactly the territory we are exploring today. In this deep dive, we are going to look into the psychology of planning your life, understanding the balance between chaos and order, and building the career and relationships you actually want.
It's a huge topic.
It is, which is why we've broken it down. There are exactly 6 key points we will cover today. And stick around until the end for a special bonus lesson on how to confidently talk about your accomplishments in English.
Which is something so many people struggle with, especially in a second language.
Definitely. Before we jump in, welcome to English Learning Podcast for daily life, real conversations, and easy listening practice.
It's great to be here.
We're so glad you're joining us, and to you listening, we're going to take this step by step, explaining advanced vocabulary along the way so you can build your confidence in real-world communication. It's a completely safe space here.
Yeah, no stress at all, just natural conversation.
So let's start at the foundation with key point number 1. Why do we even need a plan in the first place? I mean, you can't navigate daily conversations or, a whole life without knowing where you're going, right?
Right. It's an incredibly common human experience to feel unmoored. But psychologically speaking, it almost always points back to a single root cause, which is operating without a clearly defined vision.
And a lot of people think they have an option here, like I'll just go with the flow.
Yeah, but you really don't have an option about developing a vision. You either live out your own vision or you become a tool for someone else's. Nature bores a vacuum,
Wow, so if I don't plan, someone else's plan just takes over my life.
Precisely. Without a mature vision, you are essentially governed by short-term desires. Your behavior just defaults to reacting to whatever's right in front of you.
Which brings us to our first advanced word today. We often call that a hedonistic approach to life.
Yes, hedonistic.
And hedonistic means seeking pleasure as the most important thing. But I think people misunderstand what a hedonistic lifestyle actually looks like in daily life.
They picture like a rock star partying every night.
Right. But for most people, it's super mundane. For example, choosing to watch TV all weekend instead of studying English is a bit hedonistic.
It's just choosing immediate comfort over long-term growth. Because, immediate gratification is built into our biology.
Yeah, our ancestors survived by grabbing the fruit right in front of them.
Exactly. So without a higher vision, you just act entirely on a whim.
Another great word for our listeners, a whim is a sudden desire or a change of mind, like, I feel slightly irritated, so I'll snap at my partner on a whim.
And living on a whim makes you incredibly unpredictable. You become possessed by whatever emotional state bubbles up.
Let's actually pause right here and practice this. I want you, the listener, to practice speaking out loud with us to build that muscle memory. Repeat after me. I will not be governed by my whims.
That's excellent. Saying it out loud really anchors the concept. Because having an immature vision means you aren't just in trouble, you become trouble to everyone around you.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I want to push back just a little bit. What if my life is absolutely perfect right now? Do I still need a massive vision for transformation?
Well, if your life is truly perfect, which is incredibly rare.
Yeah, almost impossible.
Right. But if it is, you can stay put. However, since things are rarely perfect, transformation is usually necessary. But a broad, abstract vision is totally useless.
Abstract ideas only matter when they're implementable, right? Like they have to change what you do on a Tuesday afternoon.
Exactly. Which requires us to map the territory we are navigating.
And that leads us to key point number 2, mapping the world through chaos and order. How do we understand the environment we're in?
We usually think of the world purely in terms of material things, buildings, cars, people, but psychologically, the world is made of information.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's basically divided into chaos and order, much like the Taoist yin and yang symbol.
Okay, so order is the white half of the symbol. It's the domain of things you understand, where your actions get the results you want.
Precisely. You know the rules, you understand your job, it feels secure.
And chaos is the black half.
Chaos is what you don't understand. It's unexplored territory, it holds potential, but also absolute terror.
Let's teach a really useful English idiom here. Rule of thumb. It means a broadly accurate guide or principle.
Right, like a general guideline.
Exactly. So as a rule of thumb, most of us try to stay in the realm of order. We take the same route to work. For language learners, as a rule of thumb, review your English vocabulary for 10 minutes a day. That's a good order to have.
Let's have the listeners practice that idiom right now.
Good idea. Listeners, repeat after me. As a rule of thumb, I face my challenges.
Perfect, because if you don't face challenges, chaos will eventually force you to.
Yeah, let's look at how this works in daily conversation. Let's do a quick role play using weather small talk, which is basically the ultimate expression of order, right?
Oh, absolutely. Weather small talk is pure order.
Okay, listeners, imagine you're talking to a neighbor. I'll be the neighbor. Beautiful weather today, isn't it?
And you reply, yes, it's supposed to be sunny all weekend.
See, both people know the script. Your nervous system is totally relaxed. Order is when the weather forecast is right.
But chaos is when you get caught in a sudden storm without an umbrella. Or, going back to our role play, imagine the neighbor suddenly says, actually, my life is falling apart.
Oh, wow. Total collapse of order right there.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is how our nervous systems are biologically wired for this. We feel secure in familiar territory, but the moment the script flips, our heart rate spikes. We get scared.
And when you face chaos like that unexpectedly, it tends to dredge up all your own insecurities.
Oh, dredge up. That's a fantastic phrasal verb.
Yes, to dredge up means to bring up unpleasant memories or issues from the past. Like pulling heavy mud from the bottom of a lake.
Chaos dredges up everything hidden, so the natural instinct is to just hide in order forever.
But we can't just hide, which brings us to key point number 3, standing on the edge of meaning. Where is the best place to stand?
Well, you shouldn't just hide in order, because it becomes tyrannical and static. You never learn anything.
But you also can't just get lost in pure chaos. That's just overwhelming.
Right. The perfect spot is right on the border. 1 foot in order and 1 foot in chaos.
Just balancing between the two.
Yes. That border is where optimal learning and transformation happen. And you actually feel a deep intrinsic sense of meaning when you're there.
Intrinsic is our next vocabulary word. It means something that belongs naturally to a thing, like an essential part. You don't have to force yourself to pay attention when you're on that border. The engagement is intrinsic.
A brilliant way to illustrate this is music.
Oh, I love this analogy. And I promise I'm not just tooting my own horn here because I play a little guitar, but music is perfect for this.
Tooting your own horn.
Let me quickly explain that idiom. Tooting your own horn means to boast or brag about your own abilities. I'm introducing it as a little musical pun, but we'll definitely use it later when we talk about careers.
It's a great idiom. But back to the music. Music is the ultimate representation of this balance. The underlying beat, the rhythm, that is order.
It's predictable. Your brain feels secure.
But if a song is just one single beat repeated endlessly, you lose interest. It's too much order.
So the musician introduces chaos, a surprising key change, a complex melody.
Yes. That variation is unexplored territory. It captivates you.
It's exactly like language learning. If you only read books for babies in English, you're in total order, but you learn absolutely nothing.
You'd be bored to tears.
But if you try to read a complex legal document, it's total chaos and you just give up. B2 to C1 level, which is where we are targeting this podcast, is that perfect border. It's challenging, but understandable.
You are standing on that edge right now by listening to us in English.
Yes, you are. And hey, if you are building your confidence today and enjoying standing on that edge with us, please take a second right now to like, share, and subscribe to keep this community growing. It really helps us out.
It definitely does. So theoretically, standing on the edge sounds great.
But in practice, stepping into the unknown is terrifying. Which brings us to key point number 4, confronting the vast and taking embarrassingly small steps.
The fear is a very real obstacle. When we've tried stepping into chaos before and failed, we fall into these psychological chasms.
And past trauma haunts us involuntarily, right? Our brain says, don't fall into the same hole twice.
Exactly. Our biology is trying to protect us. So to move forward, we must negotiate with ourselves. We have to shrink the task down until it's small enough to do voluntarily.
Because we constantly make the mistake of biting off more than we can chew.
That's a perfect idiom for this.
Listeners, biting off more than you can chew means trying to do something that is just too difficult for you, like trying to learn an entire language in one weekend.
Your nervous system just shuts down when you do that.
But you also can't set a goal that you can beat hands down with zero effort.
Hands down. meaning easily and without a doubt.
Right. So where's the balance? How do we shrink the task?
The psychoanalyst Carl Jung had a profound insight here. He said, the fool is the precursor to the savior.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting. The fool is the precursor to the savior. Explain that.
It means before you can be the master of a domain, you first have to be willing to be the fool. You must be willing to be clumsy and do things badly at first.
Let's use the example of cleaning a garage that has been a chaotic mess for 10 years.
Oh, that's a classic example. You open the door, see the chaos, and shut it again. Or you try to clean the whole thing in one Saturday, which is biting off more than you can chew.
So you have to invoke the fool. You don't clean the whole thing. You negotiate with yourself to clean one corner for just 1 week, or even just sorting one single box for 15 minutes.
And that requires intense humility.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing to realize your first step has to be so incredibly tiny.
It's a huge blow to the ego to admit you can only handle 15 minutes of cleaning.
But once you do it, you get a microdose of dopamine. You feel a tiny bit more competent, and you can tackle more the next day.
Which flows perfectly into key point number 5, mastering daily routines and targeted rewards. Because if we apply these small steps to our daily repetitive tasks, we fix our whole life.
People completely overvalue exceptional events like vacations, and they undervalue daily routines.
Vacations often disappoint anyway. The flight is delayed. Everyone is stressed out.
Exactly. Meanwhile, a daily 20-minute routine like coming home from work or putting a kid to bed equals about 5% of your entire life.
Wow, 5%. So if that 20-minute routine is toxic, you are spending a massive chunk of your existence in pure misery.
But instead of fixing the small daily interactions, people try to paper over the problems with grand gestures.
Oh, to paper over. Let's teach that phrasal verb. To paper over means to hide a problem rather than actually fixing it, like buying an expensive gift to apologize instead of communicating better.
A grand gesture cannot compensate for daily tyranny. You have to do the arithmetic of relationships.
Right. If a marriage lasts 50 years, you might have, 7,500 significant interactions?
Roughly, yeah. So out of 7,500 interactions, it is totally okay if you do the first 200 dates or interactions badly while you're learning to communicate. You have to stumble forward.
And when we try to change behavior in others, we often demand they just change instantly, working themselves to the bone out of fear.
Working yourself to the bone, meaning working extremely hard to the point of exhaustion.
Yeah.
But fear and punishment are terrible motivators.
So what's the alternative?
B.F. Skinner, the famous psychologist, used targeted rewards with pigeons. He didn't yell at them. He rewarded tiny, specific steps in the right direction.
So if you want your partner to change, you need to notice when they do something slightly better and reward them specifically.
Exactly. Let's do a role play on this to show how a daily conversation should look. Imagine your partner usually comes home grumpy, but today they smiled and said hello.
Okay, normally someone might say, wow, you're actually in a good mood for once. Which is terrible. Let's try the targeted compliment instead. Listeners, pay attention to this phrasing. I really loved how you greeted me when you came home today. It made me feel really valued.
That is perfect. It's specific and positive.
Listeners, I want you to pause and try saying that compliment out loud. I really loved how you greeted me today. Awesome.
It works wonders for bringing order to the chaos of relationships.
And speaking of chaos, let's move to our final section. Key point number 6. Career chaos and the Matthew Principle.
Careers are a terrifying area for many adults.
Definitely. People stay in a job they absolutely hate and they blame their family, saying, I have to sacrifice my happiness for my kids.
Which is tyrannical to the family. They feel that resentment.
We call that being in a rut. In a rut means being stuck in a boring, unchanging routine.
And to escape that rut, you must face the chaos. Which might literally mean finding your messy, outdated CV on a disorganized computer desktop.
Just opening that file dredges up so much anxiety, so you have to shrink the task again. You just hammer away at it.
Hammer away at is a great phrasal verb. It means to work relentlessly on a problem. Just update one line a day.
But even with a great resume, the job market is chaotic.
You have to understand that a 95% rejection rate on resumes is totally normal.
Wait, really? 95%? That's so high.
It is, but knowing that base rate is liberating, it means it isn't personal. It's just the friction of the market.
And once you do get the job, we see this concept called the Pareto distribution or the Matthew Principle.
Yes, the Matthew Principle basically says that success is exponential, not linear. Success builds upon itself.
Like, if you have no money, making $10 is hard. But if you have $10 million, making $10 happens instantly in interest.
Exactly. And the same applies to confidence. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Even if you start in a lower level job, doing a stellar job makes you visible, and that success compounds.
But there is a trap here. People who do invisible work, often highly conscientious people or women in support roles, lose credit to loud narcissists.
Yes, because they do the preventative work that keeps chaos at bay, but no one sees it. You must learn to communicate your value.
Okay, here's my pushback, though. How do we tell our boss about our good work without sounding arrogant? I don't want to constantly be, tooting my own horn like we talked about earlier.
It's a very common fear, but it's about clear communication of objective value. You must have concrete examples to negotiate a raise, not just emotional appeals.
Which brings us perfectly to our promised bonus lesson for today: how to confidently talk about your accomplishments in English without sounding like you're just bragging.
This is such a crucial skill for learners.
It really is. The secret is framing your achievements as providing value, using specific action verbs. Instead of saying, "I'm the best worker," which is just tooting your own horn, you use words like implemented or streamlined.
Right. So instead of, "I made the schedule better," you say, "I streamlined the scheduling process, which saved 5 hours a week."
Or instead of, "I fixed the files," you say, "I implemented a new filing system." You're presenting a factual evidence of your competence.
It completely changes how managers see you. You're bringing order to the business.
Exactly. So to quickly review our advanced language today, we covered hedonistic, whim, rule of thumb, dredge up, tooting your own horn, biting off more than you can chew, hands down, paper over, working yourself to the bone in a rut, and hammer away at.
That's a really fantastic list of vocabulary.
It is. And now I want to hear from you, the listener. Let's make this interactive. Tell us in the comments what topic should be covered next.
We read all the suggestions.
We do. Also, what new word did you learn today, and what idiom did you learn today?
It's a great way to practice.
And finally, if you're truly committed to improving your English every single day, write, "I am consistent" in the comments right now.
Love that. Accountability is key.
Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you found this helpful. We have so many more deep dives available on the channel for your listening practice.
And don't forget to check the description box for English learning articles and free email resources to keep improving.
Remember, it is totally okay to make mistakes when you speak. You are standing on the edge of order and chaos, and that is exactly where you become fluent.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. Before we go, I want to leave you with one final thought-provoking question to explore on your own today. Think about your biggest, most intimidating goal. If you had to shrink your biggest goal down to a task that takes just 5 minutes today, what would that task be?
That's a great question to mull over.
Go take that 5-minute step today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.